Hello and welcome to an India Today special broadcast that comes to you from Kharkiv, 500 kilometers from Ukraine's capital Kyiv and barely 25 kilometers from the Russian border in eastern Ukraine. I'm Gaurav Sawant. This is the second largest city in Ukraine and this city is on the edge. It's barely 25 kilometers from the Russian border. And information and reports seem to indicate that Russia has amassed a large number of tanks, armored personnel carriers, artillery pieces and troops on the other side of the border. Even the Russian, as the Russian forces increase their numbers, the Ukrainian president Zelensky, he has said that Kharkiv could well be targeted by the Russians first. This is a very major industrial hub. It's an educational hub. India Today is the first Indian channel to be reporting from ground zero, barely 25 kilometers from the Russian border. We arrived here early this morning and I bring you this ground report. Kharkiv, with a population of 1.5 million, is barely 25 kilometers from the Russian border. This is Ukraine's second biggest city and it is an industrial hub. It is an educational hub. And according to intelligence gathered by Ukrainian agencies, Kharkiv is on the target of the Russian forces, especially with Russian tanks amassed at the borders. India Today is reporting from Kharkiv at the Russian border. With me is Daria. Daria is a young political leader here in the eastern part of Ukraine. Daria, how imminent is a threat of a Russian invasion at Kharkiv?
Well, we all know that there are a lot of Russian tanks and troops on the border between Kharkiv and Russia, but we never know what's in Putin's head, so we are not sure if something will happen. But if something will happen, we are ready.
When you say you are ready, what kind of preparations are being put in by the army, by the government and the people of Kharkiv, especially with some say that the loyalties are quite divided in eastern Ukraine?
Well, we have a lot of pro-Ukrainian people here in Kharkiv who are ready to protect our country. So I'm sure that if something will happen, they will take the weapon and protect all us. And most of all, we really trust our army. We have really strong army.
You indeed do, but most of your army, according to reports, is deployed and engaged in Donbass and other areas in the east. How well protected is Kharkiv and how real is the threat? Because one of the assessment is that Russia will go straight for Kiev and target Kiev from Belarus side. The other assessment is that the attack will be simultaneous on the biggest city Kiev and the second biggest city Kharkiv.
Well, threat is real, but Kharkiv is really well protected. We have a lot of soldiers here in Kharkiv who are training now and preparing. So I think that Kharkiv is protected. And we also have many techniques here, like tanks and other.
So locals are now training to be the second line of defense behind the armed forces. But while they do that in the border areas, in the heart of the national capital in Kyiv, especially over the weekend, people really let their hair down. It's a very tense atmosphere and they don't want to leave a single moment to unwind. So the party that started Friday evening continued through Saturday and Sunday night. Of course, people are back to work today, but take a look at how people, they partied really hard. Their ideology, their thinking is very clear. Live for today, plan for tomorrow, but party tonight.
An uneasy calm has descended on the Ukrainian capital. Countries including India are asking their nationals to leave Kiev as soon as possible. Students stare at an uncertain future when it comes to their costly foreign degrees.
Yeah, I have seen the advisory, but as of now there is no problem here, so we are not planning to go now.
I'm doing first year in the same Bogomolets National Medical University. Yeah, I'm planning to move back to India by first week of March. We are in the winter batch. We have not given the post-Vidika yet. So we have to complete some formalities in the university. So it will take time.
We are not panic or we are not scared of anything. Here's no shortage of food shortage or anything.
Ukraine and the West have been engaged in a standoff with Russia.
Soldiers of the Ukrainian army at a Remembrance Day. They are coming and paying their respects to all the braves of Ukraine who've made the supreme sacrifice of their lives to protect Ukraine before they head to the borders. It is a ceremony. It is something that they've followed all along. It is like a ritual.
The uncertainty has prompted diplomatic missions to shut operations and relocate to safer abodes.
The fact remains, the US too, they've shut down their mission here. They're still in Ukraine. They've moved to a place called Lviv, which is closer to the Polish border.
Putin is undeterred, testing his Western counterparts with military drills, flexing nuke muscles. Biden and his allies have warned Russia of severe consequences if it doesn't play by the book. Russia has a regional ally in Belarus, which has demanded the end of hostilities from NATO. It remains to be seen who blinks first.
There are also measures being taken, background work being done to construct in a way to prepare an air bridge, an aircraft which will take people from Kyiv to the nearest safest country and keep ferrying them to and fro, and then from there to India should the need arise. But at least as of now, that is an eventuality which is only being war-gamed. With cameraman Pavan Kumar in Kyiv, Gaurav Sawant for India Today. As war clouds loom large over this region, France has made one more effort to ensure a war can be averted. The French President Emmanuel Macron, he said an effort is being made and the US President Joe Biden has agreed for a summit-level meeting with the Russian President Vladimir Putin. And should there be a summit-level meeting, tensions could be brought down and a war averted. Of course, the Americans are making one thing clear, that for this summit to happen between Joe Biden and Putin, Russia will have to give a commitment that there will be no invasion of Ukraine. Of course, Ukraine's leader, Vladimir Zelensky, he says that the security architecture in Europe is broken. He seeks a new security architecture in place. He's also seeking very, very clear mandate or a very clear roadmap to join the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And when Zelensky talks about joining the NATO, this is a very clear red line for Russia. In fact, many see this as the core issue of this entire tension in this region. So clearly, there is no middle ground, at least as of now, between Ukraine and Russia, leading to these tensions in this region. So Russia and Ukraine are on the brink of war. Can this war still be averted? Can this war be averted should there be a summit-level meeting between the US President Joe Biden and the Russian President Vladimir Putin? Efforts are being made to bring the two most powerful heads of state on the same table. Of course, America has a precondition. And that precondition is Russia needs to give a written commitment that it will not attack, it will not invade Ukraine. Will Russia give such a commitment unless the United States gives a commitment that Ukraine will not become a part of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization? Let's find out. And as America, Russia, France, Germany, several countries remain in dialogue, this place, Kharkiv in eastern Ukraine, remains on edge. Will there be an invasion? Will people have to protect themselves? Remains to be seen, because pockets of eastern Ukraine, whether it's Donbass or elsewhere, are already seeing heightened conflict. We will continue to report from Ground Zero. This is Gaurav Sawant with cameraman Pavan Kumar in Kharkiv, eastern Ukraine for India Today.